So I wanted to have some strawberries with my Belgian waffles the other day. I thought, what a great way to start a day. Would make some Belgian waffles with strawberries and whipped cream. So I dipped into my supply of strawberries and I found something that was kind of disturbing. And these are my strawberries that I vacuum packed not too long ago. And I pulled out my strawberries and I found all my strawberries were like in this big clump centered around my oxygen absorber. And I thought that was kind of strange. And I thought, well, maybe that's because these were vacuum packed and the vacuum just kind of squished all the strawberries together into this little ball. And I thought, well, maybe I can still, separate the strawberries. Well, they kind of separated, but they just kind of broke up into little balls and stuff like that. Well, I was still able to have my Belgian waffles, but it wasn't really what I expected. It's more like Belgian waffles with chunks of strawberries rather than slices of strawberries. So that made me start to think about other fruits that were similar to strawberries that I packaged the same way by vacuum sealing. And so I started digging into my inventory of other things I packaged the same way. So I checked out some pineapple that I have vacuum packed, wondering if I'd have the same problem. And sure enough, instead of having nice little pieces of pineapple, I ended up with one big chunk of pineapple, and it seemed to be around the oxygen absorber. So something was consistent with the way I was packaging my fruit. So that gave me pause to do some research. And I found some interesting facts about what I was doing. And these are blueberries that I also vacuum packed. And in the middle of these is also an oxygen absorber. So these blueberries are also in big clusters. I mean, there's some that are individual, but for more or less, these have also been compressed into big chunks of blueberries. And they can come apart somewhat, but they're kind of smashed together. So what do you do with your blueberries, strawberries, pineapple that have been, crushed together in this big mass of fruit? Well, you can make jam, and that's exactly what I did with some of my damaged fruit. And I wouldn't say it's damaged, but if you can't separate the fruit, you can make milkshakes out of it, you can make jams out of it, you can make pancakes. So not all is lost. If you have packaged your fruit, this hygroscopic fruit, in Mylar with a vacuum, and now you have this massive fruit, there are other things you can do with it. I would not continue to package hygroscopic fruit in a Mylar bag. You can go ahead and package it in a Mylar bag without a vacuum, or you can use a canning jar with a vacuum. The nice thing about a canning jar is you don't have the sides of the canning jar that's going to come in and compact your fruit like it will on a Mylar bag. So I found other foods that are all clumped together. So I dug into some foods back from 3 years ago. Here's some strawberries from May 4th, 2020. And these are exactly what I thought they should be. Nice sliced strawberries that are not clumped together, that are actually absolutely delicious. No clumping whatsoever. They're not sticking together. So the theory of vacuum packing strawberries may not be a very good idea to do. So I didn't stop at strawberries. I tried bananas, no clumping. Apricots, turned out great. And mangoes. And blueberries. Now this is where canning jars are beneficial when it comes to canning hygroscopic fruits. You can in a vacuum hygroscopic fruits in a jar because the walls of a jar are not going to come in and crush the fruit like it can in a Mylar bag. So if you have hygroscopic fruits and you can them in a can like this, well, not a problem. You can continue to vacuum seal hygroscopic fruits in a jar, but not in Mylar. Just pop an oxygen absorber into the bag, seal it, and be done with it. Don't put the bag under a vacuum. Another tip you can do to avoid your hygroscopic fruit from clumping inside a Mylar bag is to allow your fruit to cool down to room temperature before placing them into a Mylar bag. If you place warm or hot fruit into a Mylar bag, that warm fruit is going to heat up the air inside the Mylar bag. So when that Mylar bag is sealed, it's going to cool down the air, and when the air cools, it's going to create a natural vacuum. So if you put room temperature food into a Mylar bag, it won't have that tendency to create a natural vacuum. Now, sometimes just the oxygen absorber itself will create a little bit of a vacuum, but not one you really need to worry about. Now, if you use a canning jar, you don't need to worry about that. So those people who are die-hard canners, this is an issue you don't need to worry about. It's only those individuals who use Mylar bags can have a problem with clumping. Now, not too long ago, I did some strawberries, I did some bananas, and I did some peaches, and I let the fruit cool down before I sealed these bags up. And so you can see with the strawberries have lots of room inside. The bananas have a little bit of a natural vacuum inside. The peaches also. But I'm pretty confident that when these are going to be opened up, they're not going to be this big ball of fruit that can't be separated. If you compare these three bags to what I did with my apricots when I purposely vacuum sealed them, I mean, you can see how tight my Mylar bag is around my apricots. I mean, you can see each individual apricot. And when I open this up, this is going to be just one big round ball of apricots. And I'll be very lucky if I can separate these apricots. I might have to powder these up and make smoothies or make a jam or something else, but I won't have those nice half-round pieces that I could use for snacking or for baking or for some other purpose. So you got to be careful with hygroscopic fruit if you're going to try to vacuum pack it. I suggest you do not vacuum pack hygroscopic fruit. And just as a review, the 10 big hygroscopic fruits are dates, figs, raisins, prunes, apricots, cranberries, blueberries, pineapple, mangoes, bananas. There's more than the list, but it's basically any fruit, and there are a few vegetables that are high in natural sugars are hygroscopic. And that means they're going to be fruits that's going to absorb moisture once they're dried, whether they're freeze-dried or they're going to be dried by another way. They're going to have a tendency to draw in moisture naturally. So I hope this video has been useful in helping you avoid clumping. I have lots of fruits in my inventory that I have vacuum packed that is now in a big mass of fruit. I won't be able to use them as I planned on it, but they're not a total loss. I'll still find uses for my massive packed fruit in the future. But just remember, from now on, don't vacuum pack most of your fruits. Just pack them the old-fashioned way with an oxygen absorber in a Mylar bag without any vacuum. And if you're into jars, you're okay. You have really nothing to worry about. That is a benefit of using jars over bags. So I hope you find this helpful. I hope I did not depress anyone out there, but it's something you should know, and it's something you probably want to avoid in the future. But I hope you found this helpful. Well, anyway, thank you for your time. Please subscribe. Go forth, freeze dry the world, and I'll send you another video soon.